सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर जॉब इंटरव्यू के लिए तैयारी करना कभी-कभी टफ हो सकता है, खासकर जब बात इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस की होती है। अक्सर क्वेश्चंस सिर्फ कोडिंग तक सीमित नहीं होते। इंटरव्यूअर्स चाहते हैं कि आप कैसे रियल वर्ल्ड प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व करते हैं, कॉम्प्लेक्स टेक्निकल कॉन्सेप्ट्स को समझते हैं और टीम वर्क या हाई प्रेशर सिचुएशंस को हैंडल करते हैं। इसलिए हमने सबसे जरूरी इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस को इकट्ठा किया है, साथ हाई एक्सपर्ट क्राफ्टेड आंसर्स भी दिए हैं जो आपको इंटरव्यू में इम्प्रेस करने में मदद करेंगे। चाहे आपको टेक्निकल क्वेश्चंस जैसे ही एल्गोरिदम्स, ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग या सिस्टम डिजाइन की तैयारी करनी हो, या बिहेवियरल क्वेश्चंस जिसे आपकी वर्क एथिक और टीम कोलैबोरेशन स्किल्स समझी जाए, ये वीडियो सब कुछ कवर करेगा। इस वीडियो को देखने के बाद आपको वो इंसाइट्स और कॉन्फिडेंस मिलेगा जो आपको स्टैंड आउट बनाने के लिए जरूरी है। चलिए शुरू करते हैं।
Questions about technical knowledge and concepts. Question number 1. What is object-oriented programming? The answer is, object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm based on objects and classes. Key principles: encapsulation, bundling data and methods within a class to restrict direct access to some components. Inheritance, mechanism to create a new class from an existing class, inheriting attributes and methods. Polymorphism, ability for different classes to be treated as instances of the same class through a common interface. Abstraction, hiding complex implementation details and exposing only the necessary functionalities. Question number 2. Can you explain the SOLID principles? The answer is, SOLID is an acronym for 5 principles that guide software design for better maintainability. Principles. S. Single Responsibility Principle SRP. A class should have one reason to change. O. Open or Closed Principle OCP. Software entities should be open for extension but closed for modification. L. Liskov Substitution Principle LSP. Subtypes must be substitutable for their base types without altering the correctness of the program. I. Interface Segregation Principle ISP. Clients should not be forced to depend on interfaces they do not use. D. Dependency Inversion Principle DIP. High-level modules should not depend on low-level modules. Both should depend on abstractions. Question number 3. What is the difference between a stack and a queue? The answer is, a stack follows the last in, first out LIFO principle, while a queue follows the first in, first out FIFO principle. Stack characteristics. Operates like a stack of plates add remove from the top. Example operations: push add and pop remove. Queue characteristics. Operates like a line of people first come, first served. Example operations: in queue add and dequeue remove. Question number 4. What are design patterns? Can you name a few? The answer is, design patterns are reusable solutions to common software design problems. Examples of design patterns: singleton ensures a class has only one instance and provides a global point of access. Factory creates objects without specifying the exact class of object that will be created. Observer allows an object to notify other objects about changes in its state. Strategy enables selecting an algorithm's behavior at runtime. Question number 5. What is the difference between an abstract class and an interface? The answer is, An abstract class can have both abstract and concrete methods, while an interface only defines method signatures without any implementation. Abstract class can provide default behavior through concrete methods, can have member variables. Interface. No method implementations, only method declarations. Cannot have member variables. Question number 6. Explain RESTful APIs. The answer is, RESTful APIs are web services that adhere to REST representational state transfer architecture, allowing systems to communicate using standard HTTP methods. Key HTTP methods. Get. Retrieve data from the server. Post. Send data to create a new resource. Put. Update an existing resource. Delete. Remove a resource from the server. Question number 7. What is the difference between SQL and NoSQL databases? The answer is, SQL databases are relational and use structured query language, while NoSQL databases are non-relational and can store unstructured data. SQL databases. Structured data with predefined schemas. Examples: MySQL, PostgreSQL, NoSQL databases. Flexible schemas for unstructured data. Examples: MongoDB, Cassandra. Question number 8. What are microservices? The answer is, microservices is an architectural style where an application is divided into small, independent services that communicate over APIs. Benefits. Scalability. Each service can be scaled independently. Flexibility. Different technologies can be used for different services. Resilience. Failure of one service does not affect the entire application. Question number 9. Explain MVC architecture. The answer is, MVC Model View Controller separates an application into 3 interconnected components. Components. Model represents the data and business logic. View, the user interface that displays data. Controller handles user input and updates the model and view accordingly. Question number 10. What is a race condition, and how can it be prevented? The answer is, a race condition occurs when multiple threads access shared data at the same time, leading to unpredictable outcomes. Prevention methods. Locks use mutexes or semaphores to control access to shared resources. Synchronization implement synchronization techniques to ensure that only one thread can access the resource at a time. Programming and algorithms. Question number 11. How would you find the middle element of a linked list in one pass? The answer is, use 2 pointers. Move one pointer slow by 1 step and the other pointer fast by 2 steps. When the fast pointer reaches the end of the list, the slow pointer will be at the middle. Key points. 2-pointer technique. Efficiently finds the middle in O(n) time. Space complexity. O1 as no extra space is used. Question number 12. Explain recursion and give an example. The answer is, recursion is a programming technique where a function calls itself to solve a problem. It breaks down the problem into smaller subproblems. Key points. Base case defines when to stop the recursion. Recursive case, the function calls itself with modified parameters. Question number 13. What is Big O notation? The answer is, Big O notation is a mathematical representation that describes the upper bound of the time and space complexity of an algorithm, focusing on how it scales with the size of input data. Key points. Purpose. helps in analyzing the efficiency of algorithms. Common complexities. O1, constant time. On, linear time. On2, quadratic time. O log n, logarithmic time. Question number 14. How would you reverse a string in place? The answer is, swap characters starting from the ends of the string and move toward the center until all characters are reversed. Key points. In place operation, no additional space for another string. Time complexity, On, where n is the length of the string. Question number 15. What is the difference between depth-first search DFS and breadth-first search BFs? The answer is, DFS explores as far as possible along one branch before backtracking, while BFs explores all nodes at the present depth level before moving on to the nodes at the next depth level. Key points. DFS uses a stack or recursion and can be memory efficient for sparse trees. BFS uses a queue and is ideal for finding the shortest path in unweighted graphs. Question number 16. How do you detect a cycle in a linked list? The answer is, use Floyd's cycle finding algorithm to pointers, slow and fast. If they meet, there is a cycle. Key points. Time complexity, On, space complexity, O1. Question number 17. What is memoization? The answer is, memoization is an optimization technique that stores the results of expensive function calls and reuses them when the same inputs occur again. Key points. Purpose. Reduces the time complexity of algorithms by avoiding repeated calculations. Commonly used in recursive algorithms, for example, Fibonacci sequence. Question number 18. How would you implement a binary search algorithm? The answer is, repeatedly divide a sorted array in half, comparing the target value with the middle element until the target is found or the search space is exhausted. Key points. Requires, the array must be sorted beforehand. Time complexity, O log n. Question number 19. Explain dynamic programming. The answer is, dynamic programming is a method for solving complex problems by breaking them down into simpler subproblems and storing the results of overlapping subproblems to avoid redundant computations. Key points. Optimal substructure. The optimal solution can be constructed from optimal solutions of its subproblems. Memoization versus tabulation. Memoization is top-down, while tabulation is bottom-up. Question number 20. What is the difference between a stack overflow and a heap overflow? The answer is, a stack overflow occurs when there's too much memory used on the call stack, for example, deep recursion, while a heap overflow happens when a program tries to use more heap memory than available. Key points. Stack overflow results in a crash, typically caused by excessive function calls or recursion. Heap overflow can cause memory corruption, typically due to dynamic memory allocation issues. Questions about languages and frameworks. Question number 21. What are closures in JavaScript? The answer is, closures are functions that capture the variables from their surrounding scope, even after that scope has exited. This means that the inner function retains access to the variables of its outer function even when the outer function has completed execution. Key points. Scope retention. Closures maintain the lexical scope, allowing for data encapsulation. Common uses. Implementing private variables, partial application, and function factories. Question number 22. What is garbage collection in Java? The answer is, Java's garbage collector automatically deallocates memory by identifying and discarding objects that are no longer in use. It helps manage memory efficiently by reclaiming memory space occupied by unreachable objects. Key points. Automatic memory management. Reduces the burden of manual memory management. Generational garbage collection. Organizes objects into generations to optimize performance. Question number 23. How does async, await, work in JavaScript? The answer is, async, await is a syntax for working with asynchronous operations in JavaScript. It allows developers to write asynchronous code in a more readable, synchronous style. The async keyword is used to declare a function as asynchronous, and the await keyword pauses execution until the promise resolves. Key points. Readability. Makes it easier to read and understand asynchronous code. Error handling can be handled using try or catch blocks. Question number 24. Explain the difference between synchronous and asynchronous programming. The answer is, synchronous programming executes tasks one at a time in sequence, blocking subsequent tasks until the current one completes. Asynchronous programming allows tasks to run in parallel or be deferred, enabling other tasks to be processed without waiting for the previous ones to complete. Key points. Synchronous. Easier to understand, but can lead to delays and blocking. Asynchronous. More complex but allows for improved performance and responsiveness. Question number 25. What is dependency injection? The answer is, dependency injection is a design pattern where an object receives its dependencies from external sources rather than creating them itself. This promotes loose coupling, enhances modularity, and improves testability. Key points. Types of injection. Constructor injection, setter injection, and interface injection. Framework support. Many frameworks like Angular provide built-in support for dependency injection. Question number 26. Explain the difference between React and Angular. The answer is, React is a JavaScript library focused on building UI components, emphasizing a component-based architecture. Angular, on the other hand, is a full-fledged framework that provides a comprehensive solution for building web applications, including features like routing, form validation, and dependency injection. Key points. React, more flexible and can be integrated into various architectures, uses a virtual DOM for efficient updates. Angular, opinionated framework with a defined structure, rich set of built-in functionalities. Question number 27. What is the difference between GET and POST in HTTP? The answer is, GET retrieves data from a server without affecting the server state, typically used for fetching resources. POST sends data to the server, often resulting in changes like creating or updating resources, and can include a request body. Key points. Get. Idempotent safe to repeat without changes. Limited data size URL length. Post. Not idempotent repeating may cause different results. Allows for larger data payloads. Question number 28. How does C# handle exceptions? The answer is C# uses try, catch, and finally blocks to handle exceptions. The try block contains the code that may throw an exception. Catch blocks handle the exception, and finally can be used to execute code regardless of whether an exception was thrown or not. Key points. Structured exception handling. Improves code reliability. Multiple catch blocks. Allows handling different exception types. Question number 29. What are lambda expressions in Java? The answer is lambda expressions provide a concise way to represent an anonymous function functional interface that can be passed as an argument or stored as a variable. They are often used to implement methods of functional interfaces in a more readable way. Key points. Syntax. Parameters, arrow operator, expression. Use cases. Commonly used in functional programming, particularly with Java's Stream API. Question number 30. How do you manage state in React? The answer is, state in React can be managed using hooks such as useState for local state management or useReducer for more complex state logic. For larger applications, state management libraries like Redux or Context API can be employed for global state management. Key points. useState. Simple way to manage local component state. useReducer. For managing complex state logic with multiple sub-values. State management libraries. Redux provides a predictable state container and helps in managing global state. Behavioral questions. Question number 31. Describe a challenging technical problem you solved. The answer is, one challenging problem I faced was during a project where we needed to optimize a legacy application that had performance issues. The application was built on outdated technology, which led to slow response times. Problem: users experienced lag during peak hours, impacting productivity. Approach: I conducted a thorough analysis to identify bottlenecks in the code and database queries. Technologies used: I used profiling tools to monitor performance and implemented catching strategies with Redis. Additionally, I refactored critical code sections to improve efficiency. Impact: as a result, we reduced response times by 60% and improved user satisfaction, leading to a higher adoption rate of the application. Question number 32. How do you ensure code quality? The answer is, I ensure code quality through several best practices. Writing clean code. I focus on clarity and maintainability, using meaningful variable names and proper documentation. Best practices. I adhere to industry standards and guidelines, such as solid principles. Code reviews. I participate in regular code reviews, both giving and receiving feedback to promote shared learning. Automated testing. I write unit tests and use test-driven development (TDD) to catch issues early in the development process. Question number 33. How do you handle tight deadlines? The answer is, I approach tight deadlines strategically. Prioritization. I assess tasks based on their impact and urgency, focusing on high-priority items that deliver the most value. Communication. I keep stakeholders informed about progress and any potential delays to set realistic expectations. Time management. I break down large tasks into smaller, manageable deliverables, which allows for incremental progress. Sometimes I negotiate to adjust features based on what can realistically be delivered in the time frame. Question number 34. Can you give an example of working on a team project? The answer is, in a recent project, I collaborated with a team to develop a web application for client management. Collaboration. We held regular stand-up meetings to discuss progress and blockers. Communication. I facilitated discussions between team members to ensure everyone was aligned with the project goals and timelines. My role. I was responsible for the front-end development, implementing UI components based on the design specifications and ensuring they met accessibility standards. By fostering open communication, we delivered the project successfully and on time. Question number 35. How do you keep up with new technologies? The answer is, I stay current with new technologies through various methods. Reading technical blogs. I follow influential blogs and websites like Medium, dev.to, and tech-focused news platforms. Coding communities. I participate in forums like Stack Overflow and GitHub discussions to learn from others' experiences. Conferences and meetups. I attend industry conferences and local meetups to network and learn about the latest trends and tools. Continuous learning. I regularly take online courses on platforms like Coursera and Udacity to deepen my understanding of new frameworks and languages. Question number 36. Describe a time you received critical feedback. How did you handle it? The answer is, in a previous project review, I received feedback that my code lacked proper documentation and was challenging for other team members to understand. Reflection. I took a moment to reflect on the feedback, recognizing the importance of clear documentation for team collaboration. Action. I revised my approach, starting to document my code thoroughly, including comments explaining the purpose of functions and the logic behind complex sections. Outcome. This not only improved team collaboration but also made it easier for new members to onboard, leading to a more efficient workflow. Question number 37. How do you approach debugging? The answer is, my debugging process involves several systematic steps. Isolation of the issue. I start by reproducing the bug to understand its context and behavior. Use of logging or debugging tools. I employ logging to capture error messages and state information, and I utilize debugging tools to step through the code. Code review. I review related code sections to identify potential logical errors or overlooked details. Analysis. I analyze error messages and stack traces to pinpoint the root cause, ensuring a thorough resolution. Question number 38. Have you ever faced a disagreement in a team? How did you resolve it? The answer is, yes. I experienced a disagreement regarding the choice of technology stack for a project. Listening. I made it a point to listen to all perspectives, understanding the rationale behind each choice. Research. I conducted research to gather data on the pros and cons of each option, including performance metrics and future maintainability. Compromise. We held a team meeting to discuss the findings and reached a consensus to conduct a small proof of concept for the top two options, allowing us to make an informed decision collaboratively. Question number 39. How do you prioritize multiple projects with conflicting deadlines? The answer is, I manage conflicting deadlines by employing a structured approach. Assessing business impact. I evaluate which projects will deliver the most value to the business and prioritize those. Communication. I maintain open lines of communication with stakeholders to understand their needs and timelines. Task management tools. I utilize tools like Trello or Jira to organize tasks visually, allowing for easy tracking and adjustment of priorities as needed. Question number 40. Describe your approach to testing your code. The answer is, my approach to testing is thorough and systematic. Unit tests. I write unit tests for individual components to ensure they function correctly in isolation. Integration tests. I perform integration tests to verify that different components work together as expected. Continuous integration CI. I leverage CI tools to automate testing processes, ensuring that all tests pass before code is merged and deployed. This helps maintain code reliability and quality throughout the development lifecycle. Questions about software development practices. Question number 41. What is version control, and why is it important? The answer is, version control systems, such as Git, are essential tools in software development. They manage changes to source code over time, allowing teams to work collaboratively and efficiently. Tracking changes. Version control tracks every modification made to the codebase, providing a history of changes. Collaboration. Multiple developers can work on the same project simultaneously without overriding each other's changes. Rollback capability. In case of errors, developers can revert to previous code states, minimizing the impact of bugs and facilitating experimentation. Branching. Version control allows developers to create branches for new features or bug fixes, enabling isolated development until changes are ready to be merged. Question number 42. How do you handle code conflicts in Git? The answer is, handling code conflicts is a common scenario in collaborative development. Here's how I approach it. Review conflicts. When conflicts arise during merging, I carefully review the changes in the conflicting files to understand the differences. Communication. If necessary, I communicate with teammates to clarify the intent behind their changes and discuss the best way to resolve the conflict. Manual resolution. I manually edit the conflicting code to combine the changes appropriately, ensuring the final code retains the necessary functionality. Commit changes. Once resolved, I commit the changes with a clear message explaining how the conflict was resolved, which helps maintain project history. Question number 43. What is continuous integration or continuous deployment? The answer is, continuous integration, continuous deployment is a set of practices designed to automate and improve the process of software development. Continuous integration CI. Developers frequently merge code changes into a central repository, where automated builds and tests are run. This helps catch issues early and reduces integration problems. Continuous deployment CD. After successful testing, changes are automatically deployed to production, enabling frequent and reliable releases. Benefits. It accelerates the development process, ensures code quality, reduces manual deployment errors, and facilitates quick feedback from users. Question number 44. What is test-driven development TDD? The answer is, TDD is a software development approach that emphasizes writing tests before writing the actual code. Process. Write a test. Start by writing a test for a new feature or function. The test should initially fail because the functionality isn't implemented yet. Develop code. Write the minimum amount of code necessary to pass the test.
Refactor. Clean up the code while ensuring that all tests still pass. Benefits. TDD promotes better design, helps identify issues early in the development process, and results in a more reliable codebase with fewer bugs.
Question number 45.
How do you handle software documentation? The answer is, effective documentation is crucial for maintaining software projects and ensuring team alignment. Self-explanatory code. I write clean and self-explanatory code with appropriate comments that clarify complex logic or important decisions. External documentation. I maintain comprehensive external documentation, including API documentation, clear descriptions of endpoints, parameters, and responses. System architecture. Diagrams and explanations of system components and their interactions. Setup instructions. Step-by-step guides for setting up the development environment and deploying the application. Regular updates. I ensure documentation is regularly updated to reflect any changes in the codebase or architecture.
Question number 46.
What is Agile development? The answer is, Agile is an iterative development methodology that focuses on delivering value through collaboration and flexibility. Iterative process. Agile breaks projects into smaller, manageable increments, sprints, allowing for regular feedback and adjustments. Collaboration. Emphasizes teamwork and communication among cross-functional teams, including developers, testers, and stakeholders. Customer feedback. Regular feedback from users ensures that the product meets their needs and allows for quick adjustments based on changing requirements. Frequent releases. Agile promotes small, frequent releases, enabling teams to deliver value continuously and respond swiftly to market changes.
Question number 47.
How do you ensure scalability in your software? The answer is, designing scalable software requires careful planning and architecture. Modular architecture. I create systems with modular components that can be developed, tested, and scaled independently. Optimizing algorithms. I focus on using efficient algorithms that can handle increased load without significant performance degradation. Load balancing. Implementing load balancers helps distribute traffic across multiple servers, ensuring reliability and availability under heavy loads. Efficient database querying. I optimize database queries and use indexing to enhance performance, ensuring the system can handle larger datasets effectively. Caching strategies. I implement caching mechanisms to reduce database load and improve response times for frequently accessed data.
Question number 48.
Explain the concept of loose coupling in software design. The answer is, loose coupling is a design principle aimed at reducing dependencies between software components. Flexibility. By minimizing interdependencies, components can be modified or replaced independently without affecting the overall system. Maintainability. Loose coupling improves maintainability as changes in one part of the system are less likely to impact other parts. Examples. Common practices to achieve loose coupling include using interfaces, event-driven architectures, and dependency injection.
Question number 49.
How do you approach performance optimization in software? The answer is, my approach to performance optimization involves a systematic process. Profiling. I use profiling tools to analyze the application's performance, identifying bottlenecks and resource-intensive operations. Algorithm optimization. I review algorithms and data structures, looking for opportunities to enhance their efficiency and reduce time complexity. Reducing query overhead. I optimize database queries to minimize latency and reduce the number of calls made to the database. Caching and lazy loading. Implementing caching strategies and lazy loading helps reduce load times and improves user experience.
Question number 50.
What is refactoring and when should it be done? The answer is, refactoring is the process of restructuring existing code without changing its external behavior. Purpose. The primary goal is to improve the code's readability, maintainability, and overall quality. When to refactor? Regularly scheduled. I incorporate refactoring as part of the development process, addressing areas of the code that are becoming difficult to manage or understand. Before adding new features. Refactoring before introducing new features ensures a cleaner foundation and reduces the risk of introducing new bugs. After bug fixes. Once bugs are resolved, I take the opportunity to clean up and optimize the related code sections.